GDPR, what is it and why do you need to care? So by now you would have had a lot of emails from companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, all the major international companies sending you email updates about privacy policies that they had to update. It's to get in line with the GDPR regulations that went live on the 25th of May. Now if these companies are found to break any of the regulations, they can be sued for quite a bit of money. To give an example, Google and Facebook together, which are probably the two largest ones, were sued for $8.8 billion just on the first day of the GDPR going live. So it's quite serious. Now what is GDPR? It stands for General Data Protection Regulation, and it's basically set in the EU, which is the European Union, and it's there to protect how these companies can use and share your data. So it's there to protect us as consumers. It's an incredibly complex document to understand, but it basically says that these companies need to be more upfront about what they're using your data for and who they're sharing it with. It's more focused on the tech companies, but it's not just limited to them. The rules say they have to be more transparent with what they're going to do with your data and when they're asking for your permission as well. This means that the website you would normally go to now have a lot more click to proceed boxes, which means that you've got to click on every one of those boxes to say, yes, you agree for them to take your data, and then you can also see what they're going to use your data for. So more transparency to protect us as the consumer. More important than this is what those companies are going to do with your data behind the scenes. So that's really important. We don't know what they're doing with our data. So this allows us to actually see what they do with their data and where they're sending it. If you think about Facebook, nobody really knew what they were doing with their data until this whole scandal came up. Thanks, Mark. But it comes down to, again, those third-party websites need to say why they want your information and what they're going to do with that information. If you think about visiting one site, it's not just the one site you're visiting because it tracks you all the way through. These companies that get your information, mainly for marketing, now need to say why they need that information. So again, for us as consumers, it's great because it's more privacy coming our way and we need to agree to that before they can use their data for anything like marketing. So it's just more privacy protection for us as the consumers. Another great function of the GDPR is that the EU residents can request the information from these companies and also ask these companies to correct the information if it was found to be incorrect. The companies have 30 days to comply, and if they don't, they can be fined up to 4% of their global revenue. If you think about companies like Facebook and Google, they don't want to be spending 4% of their revenue for not complying. So you can imagine they want to be fully compliant as much as possible. The good news though is that no one is 100% compliant. So the regulators are going to use this period as a learning curve for everyone to get up to date. For us as consumers, it's probably a good thing so that we can get used to this as well, even though it's just in the EU at the moment. It might be a good idea for you to update your privacy policies as well to make sure that when this goes global, and it will, that you are compliant. Hopefully now you understand what the GDPR actually is, and it's not as scary as it sounds, but it's probably a good idea to do a little bit more research into this subject. I'd love to hear your comments down below and any thoughts. So until next time, I'm Martin Kluter. See you later.